Morning, and thank you for taking some time off and explaining what we are planning to bring it to the market. And also, this video will help our investors understand what the background behind the company and also the technology, the IP, the innovations, as well as, of course, your team background and all those things, teaching. So, we'll
Yeah.
get started. First of all, this
Thank you,
is
Kalyan, for your interest in our company.
thank you. Yeah, first of all, this is actually an investment offering session that we are doing with Sravathi. They are the investment firm that we are looking at it to partner with. And also, they have a lot of expertise in this particular industry space. They're kind of a market leaders, as so-called. This offer is being built by both Sravathi and Catalyst Ventures, who's a venture capital firm. We will talk about that Catalyst a little later. First, we'll concentrate on more on Sravathi and what the product offering is all about. As like any slides, we always want to go with a disclaimer. Pretty much for any, it's for legal compliance purposes and all of those things. Of course, these video and deck will be shared at later point in time, so you guys can go through in detail of the disclaimer and all. We're not going to go through each and every slide. My concentration is get the knowledge out of the industry experts and see what we can do. Okay, so this particular video is aligned in this context. We're going to talk about the problem statement. Of course, problem statement is always followed by what industry challenges are. And especially then we will go deep into what this technology we're talking about. Some of this may be familiar, may not be familiar. But that's where we'll spend a little bit more time on process intensification and so on and so forth. And of course, every investment we bring to the table, we need to see what the market opportunities, what is the industry knowledge that we have, and IPs, patents, and of course, the financial outlook and all. So, kind of aligned in this. Hopefully, this session will answer quite a number of questions. Of course, if not, you guys can reach out separately as well. With that said, first of all, Kishan sir, I know you are pretty familiar with what we are talking about here. Of course, for a novice people looking at it, and also including me as well. Of course, we know a little bit, but not too deep. Can you explain about what really process intensification is and how that really aligns with the company and the problem statement that we have in the world today?
Thanks, Kalyan, for the question. The process intensification nowadays is called with a different words, continuous manufacturing or flow chemistry. All of them are the same. Fundamentally, it looks at a process industry problems. A typical process industry has the challenges in terms of heat transfer and mass transfer. What that means is any reaction for whichever industry, whether pharma, agrochemical, fine chemicals, or any chemical reaction, it generates a heat. You have to take out that heat very, very safely. That is called heat transfer. Similarly, when you mix two components, you need to mix it efficiently. That is, if it is not done properly, and you have a mass transfer limitation. So this particular process intensification technology eliminates both of this in order of magnitude level, heat transfer and mass transfer elimination, and thereby it gives a sustainability technology with more energy efficiency.
Great. Thank you very much for that. With that, we'll go to the next slide. Of course, you've talked about you as I said, right? You guys are the industry experts. Can you give a little bit background about you personally? Of course, your team. Of course, we see three people here. Of course, there is an army of intelligent talent and people behind the company. But at least if you can give us a high level of what your background, where you came from, and how did you start this whole journey and all.
Thanks, Alan. So myself is Dr. Krishan Goram, and then you see two of my fellow colleagues, Dr. Ram Narayanan and Dr. Shivakumar. All of us are PhD in a respective domain. This particular one, process intensification, requires interface of chemistry and chemical engineering. Now, I'll start with myself. I'm a PhD chemistry from IICT Hyderabad and worked in abroad many years. and then came back to India, GE and Sabic. And the last role I did was managing director of Sabic for many years. And me, along with the two of my colleagues, started this company in 2019, 5.5 years ago. Main purpose is two things. Process intensification is a multidisciplinary approach. Majority of the companies, especially in pharma, chemistry dominant. And whereas people understand one discipline at a time, and we a combined forces of a multiple discipline to solve the industry problems and to give the energy efficiency. And that's how me, along with other two colleagues, Ram Narayan, also university PhD for organic chemistry with 20 plus years of experience, and Shivakumar, PhD from IISc Bangalore, top known institute in India, and with 25 plus years of experience. And we understand this process intensification from fine chemical, petrochemical point of view, which has been implemented. Now we are transforming to other industries. In the process, I will explain that this intensification really modifies the whole industry, the way it will be run going forward. With that saying our background, our mission is twofolds. One, we want to enhance the quality of life by having a sustainable tech and differentiated technologies. One, we are aiming import substitution, make in India, make in US. I think every country required their essential drugs in their respective country, not to depend on other country. This particular technology allows every country to implement technologies in a cost-effective manner, including in the US. So we want to make the transformational changes for this particular industry, and that's how we started this mission. And I think after 5.5 years, we can say very happily to say that we are well established with 130 people working in this organization now, and well validated all the concepts, and we have commercialized many, which I will be talking in the coming pages.
Thank you very much. That's great to hear. All the big brains, master brains coming in and making it work. Thank you very much for that. So let me, okay. And so, I mean, you, of course, we know you very well. So you have different business verticals, which is complementing each other. We just want you to talk about why these verticals and how is it actually, compensating each other industry or the business that you have and how it's helping your current uh, industry or your current market, as I would call it. Can you talk about your verticals?
Yeah. So let me talk about, before going to the vertical, I'll give you one more analogy for non-chemical background people. We all know that how the computer generation evolved. We used to have very large desktops. Then laptops evolved as a laptop small. And then recently, or last several years, the mobiles, those are all small in size, but more powerful than some of the desktops. So it means that industry evolved over the time, and our dependency on that particular one is a lot for all of our lives. And similarly, chemical industry has not evolved over the last 6 to 7 decades. Our approach of a microreactor technology is exactly the same idea revolution which now mentioned, taking out a huge 5,000 to 10,000 liter reactors with a space of 40 to 20 feet sizes becomes a laptop size microreactor with the same production capacity. This is a transformational change will happen with this technology. Now, how do we adapting? Flow tech, first let me talk about flow tech. It's basically we are applying to any industry, across industries, any type of chemistry. We are able to do all type of processes converting into effective microreactor based continuous manufacturing. And there, as of now, we have 25 plus technologies completed in variety from fluorination, chlorination to all types of chemistries. We have commercialized 5 plants in India, and 5 more are under construction. So basically, Flowtech, what we vertical, takes the existing technology, existing molecule, and converting into more cost-effective and sustainability technology using these microreactors and implementing to the customer. This will bring the cost effectiveness and energy saving to the customers. The second vertical, so that's basically Flowtech is all about a generic, the existing molecule. CDMO is all about working with innovators like Pfizer's and Max of the world, in pharma especially. And we have a partner in the US who works with us, who brings interfaces with those innovators. And we got quite a bit of business last 2.5 years. As of now, we have completed 50 plus technologies. We have 15 plus international customers who are innovators and the CMOs. And we have 5 manufacturing partners in India to make these products and sell it. So Flowtech is all about technology transfer and producing at the customer end. CDMO is all about developing technologies and producing at our manufacturing partners and supplying end product to the innovators. So that's the difference between these two. And now we have transferred around 20 technologies to our manufacturing partners in India. Turnkey is all about taking A to Z on us always until building the plant, and especially the countries when you are looking at self-reliance, especially in African and Middle East countries. And we have ambition to move in that direction to take end-to-end project and go ahead and including equipment, installation, engineering, everything we want to do it. And that's where our future vertical is going to be a turnkey project for any product.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on.
Last one, not the least one, this particular vertical technology is useful across industries. We may talk about a lot more on the pharma focus because our majority of the clients, but this industry, this particular technology is useful for pharma, agrochemical, fine chemicals, or fragrance, electronic medical, or polymers. You name it, any particular, wherever a chemical reaction happens, you can apply this technology across the industry verticals.
Great. Okay. I think one of definitely the next slide here we are talking. You just touched upon various customers and all. I see quite a bit of customers here, and of course, having customers is always a good, and also having their logos published officially also makes it a big difference as well. How much of trust and collaboration that you have with them. Can you talk about maybe pick maybe one or two major customers, and if you can talk about what you've done for them, especially maybe Pfizer, because US, we all know who's Pfizer is, or any other customers within US or any other country.
No, so there are 2 types of customers. This page, the next page talks about it. One customer, one CDMO clients. As I said, we are working with the US company as a partner who is bringing interfacing with these customers listed here. And the way we work it is we start with a pipeline of their molecules, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 molecules. We partner with them, working and developing small quantities for them. And then once their product is launched, we continue to be their partner to supply chain, a quality supply chain, using this cost-effective and sustainable technology called flow chemistry. That's one. Second, also, it is also alternative through the geopolitical the reasons recent times. Every company, bigger company, is looking at sustainable supply chain from India. I mean, alternative to China, and that is also one of their strategy. And we are fitting exactly into their strategy in supplying. And then on top of it, with the sustainable based technologies, which help them to fulfill their supply chain requirements.
Go to the next slide. Yeah, you touched upon some of this.
We do have generic players. Generic players in the sense is who works on APIs and intermediates, which are generic. Generic means out of patent, and the Teva or other listed in this list, all of them works on generic space. And as you know that India is a pharma hub of the world, and we work with many of those customers converting their molecules into continuous process in a cost-effective way, one. Two, we also look at uh, um, their challenges in terms of backward integration, dependence on other countries importing raw materials. We help them developing those technologies so that they can reduce their dependency in other countries. So that's how we are working, which I mentioned that we have many technologies work for many of these companies.
Good. Yeah, great. So, yeah, I think, of course, having this many logos, obviously, it's not overnight. Obviously, you because been working for quite a long time and sustain with them, collaborate with them, and also improvise the product and all of stuff. Of course, all your technology, both the vertical that you talked about, is already being used successfully in some of these clients, or most of these clients, I would say. Okay, good. So moving on to the next. Okay. So obviously you explained a little bit of process intensification. I think this is a real time or real example of how it is implemented. We can talk about a little bit on this one. It would kind of give a visual representation of what we are talking.
Yeah. So first, I want to give attention to that white round circle. Our reactor's size is 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, which replaces the commercial reactor of 40 feet length and 20
Wow.
feet. So it's a basically massive size reduction, which the few minutes ago, I talked about desktops to mobiles, and we are now talking about, and you can see that commercial use of that, our reactor in between of two pipes, okay? That's how we can see it. And this particular one is a energy efficiency, which I talked about, at least 50% energy saving. For any given technology, 50% energy saving minimum. Next, it also talks about elevated safety. It is 100% safe. You might have heard about chemical accidents in industry every year takes a lot of lives. This particular one is a complete 100% safe. At any given time, you have a small liquid, some small compound is there because it's a whole hold up is very small. And that's why it's 100% safe and it's automated, and it also has the inbuilt safety features so that at any given time, it's 100% safe. Even if something happens, manual error or anything happens, it auto shutdown feature is there, but it will not blow. So that's a thing. And then faster time to market, because the reaction times, hours and hours together, we are bringing to minutes and seconds, and thereby it is a cost-effective production, both in terms of CapEx as well as OpEx. And finally, it reduces the waste production in comparison to traditional technology.
Yeah, one thing that came out of what you thought when you're talking about that, you mentioned the circle that is there, it's like 51 feet by 1 feet, 1.5 by 1.5, compared to 40 feet of, so that much of big reactors are still being used in the industry and they're all moving away.
Right now, entire industry uses, I would say, 99.5% uses the same high big reactors across
Wow.
the world, not specific to India or US, across the world. This is the game-changing technology for industry itself. It is the any transformation takes time, and that's where industry wait and watch kind of thing. And now we implemented few of those. A wow factor is coming across, and this is next decade is where you will see every single tech company has to go through this transformation. If not, their products cannot be cost effective anymore.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think this is again a different view of some other components. Maybe you may want to give a brief overview on this as well.
So we have quite a bit of facilities last 5.5 years established in Bangalore, India. And this has everything to do microreactor. We have 100 of them. So these microreactors are invented by Sravathi, patented worldwide by Sravathi, some of them granted already. Um, we do have, apart from reactors, downstream continuous process, which nobody has it, to do the any particular process to make a final specified drug or molecule. We have all the facilities, and we have a demo area, a pilot unit to demonstrate to the customers. And some of those, what you can see here in this photo.
Move on to the next one. Oops, sorry. I think here you have your team and what's your development process, and also some of the reactors that you talked about, uh, like photochlorination, hydrogenation. Can you give a little bit of maybe at a grounds level view of what these really are?
Yeah. So the left side is analytical method. That's the standard. We have self-sufficient analytical methods. This side, very unique. A couple of photos have given it because hydrogenation is a whole industry that keeps a reactor away from the main block just because it is potential hazard. And we are able to do a continuous, very sustainable way of looking at it. And you can do it anywhere in the plant. You don't have to worry about it, safety part of it anymore, as I explained in the previous slide. Similarly, photochlorination, it is by the LED light source. Energy source is LED light. So that's a very, very low energy consumption. And they're able to do this particular type of reaction, photochlorination. And again, these are all designed and custom fabricated by Sravathi. Very unique capability.
So this is probably, I would call it like innovation on top of the knowledge and experience that you have in fitting it to the customer needs as and when arises.
Yeah. End of the day, all this innovation need to reduce to practice. That's where, which I mentioned that we're just not doing it at lab level, at pilot level. We have implemented commercially because that is where the end of the money coming to our customers.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think we talked about the flow chemistry. I think this kind of I like this picture as it talks about the various stages, and also, our part that we are doing for both from environment side, and I suppose you touched upon safety, quite a bit of those things, right? Maybe you can summarize on this one, thought
Yeah.
process.
As I mentioned about it's a cost effective, irrespective of its molecule, we are doing it. And I talked about energy integration, sustainability, because it's a reduction of energy. And also you can integrate with the solar energy and a single source of energy. Just to give example, industry uses 4 to 5 different types of energy sources. Okay, and different types of pipes. And the our solution will be able to replaces all the 5. You can do it one energy source with a through electricity and supply the whether minus or plus degree centigrade, and then integrate that to solar energy. That's where we said we can integrate this back to solar requirement. And then every process we develop is a patentable because it's a differentiated reactor, differentiated process. So we already filed 15 of them. And for every customer, we tell them that you will be the leading in your molecule, in your industry by filing a patent for every single technology. And then last one, not the least one, distributed manufacturing one. So as I said, so tomorrow if you say make in US, why US is expensive, why certain countries are low cost? If you look at it, only 2 reasons. One is manpower, second one is the energy costs. These are the 2 costs are significantly higher in the developing countries compared to developing world. But this particular technology reduces your energy by 50% and your manpower automated manpower requirement significantly lower. Thereby, that disadvantages will be moved away and it's a level fielding. And that's where you can do it. Make in US, make in India, make in any country. It's possible. And then distributed manufacturing. So one of the example is you can actually produce on the go. Even on this particular one size, I told you size has come down significantly lower. You can actually build it the plans wherever you want it. It not necessarily very remote places building the manufacturing production, and then distributing that to a different countries. So there are two ways of people doing. People do it, produce the chemicals where the raw materials are available and distribute to the world, which is presently happening. Middle East is the energy source of a lot of oil and gas, and they produce it and they supply to world and they distribute by the whatever the supply chain. Here, what we are talking about, where the customers are there, you go and produce it. And this equipment is not cost effective. Its size is very small. So that is where we are calling about distributed manufacturing model you can apply using this technology.
Great. Makes sense. I think, yeah, I think you already touched upon this one earlier. Maybe any specific ones that you would want to talk on this slide before we move on to the next one, Sir?
So only thing Alan going to say one additional one is it is a fully end-to-end continuous process can be done in this one. And we are talking about this particular one is validated. It is not at the early stage. Don't look at it, the company as early stage. We are fully invested heavily in terms of all the requirements. And we have executing number of projects and across industries. So there is no limitation on this particular technology.
Great. Yeah, I think I think maybe this kind of summarizes a little bit of both capabilities and differentiators. Maybe you can talk about this one.
So this is more technical oriented page. So basically, I talked about industries. Now I'm talking about underneath of industries type of reactions.
Oh,
Any gas and liquid reactions, any exothermic reaction, dangerous reaction, very safely can be done. Like a fluorine. Fluorine is a very dangerous gas, but very safely you can do in this particular one because you don't operate. It's automated. You don't see the any reactant or gases. You don't operate anything and manually. So all of those what are listed here are very unique capabilities and by using macroreactors. But just to summarize 5 things. A cost effective, because this is not expensive. One of the competitor in this industry versus what we have come up with our reactors are order of magnitude. We are talking about 30 to 40 times cheaper. So that's why it's a cost effective and customized reactors designs for every type of reaction. And then we have a downstream continuous process. People don't talk about it. And then automation, process controls. Then on top of these three, we have in-house expertise and demo units, and then with the domain expertise from all of us. And that makes us unique differentiator. And this, what I can say is, this will take us several years ahead of any competition. And this combination you will not find in any company, and wherein it takes some other startups or some other companies to start this. It's a multidisciplinary is one hurdle. Second, all of this combination is other hurdle, and designing reactors and able to correlate with the type of reactions is another hurdle. So that is the reason we are a few years ahead of any competitors in this space.
oh, great. I think that's very well said, Kishan. So yeah, that's one of the questions that I was about to. All this great. Sometimes the question comes up: Is this repeatable, or this is can be made? Yeah, obviously, as just said, we are way ahead of the curve. So by the time anybody reaches out, there's a lot more evolution. There's a lot more innovation is going to happen, so that we are always going to be ahead of somebody that is fairly starting new. I'm assuming that's what you meant by it. Great. Yeah. I think maybe this is also a little bit more too detailed technical, I guess. Can you say? I know we
Just
want to talk
to
about this.
illustrate one example, because as I said, we have 25 technologies, one type, and another 50 technologies. So many of them we have done last 5.5 years. This
Yeah.
gives the pictorial way. What I wanted to give the attention is one of the statement, 75% energy saving in comparison batches of a traditional approach, versus Sravathi flow technology 1. That's one attention. Second attention I want to give is time of the reaction in the batch is 4 hours, and we have convert that into 2 minutes.
It's a huge
Just
difference.
imagine the 16 to 4, 240 minutes converting into 2 minutes. You are giving 120 times faster that productivity of that particular reaction. So then solvent-free, better control of exotherm, consistent quality are the added advantages. But I just want, this is one of the illustration to show the example where we have successfully completed, implemented the technology.
Huge efficiency gains by using the Sravathi's flow chemistry and the process and everything. Yeah, from 240
But
minutes
let
to
me
2 minutes.
elaborate for the layman, Kalyan, one more, sorry to elaborate. For example, if you take a AC in a room,
Mhm, mhm,
initially energy consumption is high, uh, but once you set, if there's no energy then leakage in the room, your consumptions of your energy when you put, let's say, normal temperature 20 or 22 degrees centigrade, once it comes to that steady state, energy consumption is low. Initially, then its consumption high.
mhm.
So in this particular technology, in a batch process, sorry, in a regular batch process, every batch you do it, you have to heat it, run it the reaction, and cool it. While heating and cooling, energy is lost. Whereas this one is a steady state, continuous, 24/7, like AC, 22 degrees centigrade, energy consumption is low at that space. Here in this particular one, all the time energy consumption is low. That is the reason anywhere 50 plus percentage of energy is a guaranteed reduction for any particular technology using this microreactors. So I've tried to
Okay.
give the common man language with the comparison with the AC energy consumption.
Well, absolutely, that helps. In fact, your earlier example of the previously computers to desktop, that also kind of gives I mean, for the audience, it makes it much more easier to correlate. It's pretty good. Analogies are always good actions. Okay, now let's go. Of course, now the important thing is, of course, it's all great, but what is the market that we are looking at? That's a common question, obviously. So this slide explains it. Of course, I'll let you dive into more on this one.
Yeah, so very simple. This is across industries. So as I mentioned, I have given you 3 industries, the total market. Pharma is, of course, the biggest, $1.7 trillion, one, and expected to be 3 trillion market size. Same thing, specialty chemicals is expected to be a 1 trillion, and then agrochemicals is followed by that. So as this industry, as this technology is useful for across industries, you can tap into each one of them. Yeah, this market size is very, very high. How much we capture is the speed in which we want to implement and we grow as a company. It all depends. But again, even a fraction of percentage, we take it is a large potential what we are looking at.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Right. Okay. Now coming on to I think this would probably some of the questions or some of the current offering that we are doing. What is the revenue potential? What are the options? If you can talk about what the investment is all about, what is the plan of that investment and how we are planning to grow. I think that's what this is talking about. If I'll let you talk on this.
Yeah. As I mentioned that one of the vertical CDMO, we are producing with the 5 manufacturing partners in India. Our ambition, vision going forward is making Sravathi one manufacturing facility in India in 3 different phases, and the total investment of 275 crores Indian rupees. And that's translate to somewhere 30 plus or close to $35 million. Um, we are also evaluating other option is producing as a joint venture with a local existing producer, which we have 2 options are under discussion. So we will be selecting one of these, either own manufacturing or joint venture, means we will be equity owner in the company. Then additionally, we are at the final stage, joint venture in the US, that's in Florida. okay, Jacksonville, and we are at the final stage um, to finalize the terms and conditions, and this will be a fully investment coming from the other partner and uses our technology in the US. They wanted to make in US concept work. So we'll be doing some of the intermediates in India, but the final drugs will be produced in the USA using this joint venture. So, so this is going to come in live 2025. And then other are under discussion, potential in Saudi where raw materials are available, but it's a little away at this moment, early stage. But JV in the US is it's going to be live in 2025.
So these are active expansion plans that you already have it in the final stages, at least the first option one and two and JV in USA. Good. Okay. Uh, Okay. So yeah, of course, numbers always speaks for itself. You've provided what the revenue is, what the EBITDA is. Yeah, maybe, you can talk about this, how the projections. One of the important question I want to address is on what uh, there are some risks and potentials. You must have seen all of those things as well, right? By factoring those things, by coming up the numbers. We can talk about that as you elaborate. That would help investors to understand what the financial model is all about.
So what we looked at it is, as I said, business-wise, CDMO through our partners in the US, we have today 50 technologies ready. Out of that, 20 we are producing through our partners. We have those other technologies readily available with us. We want to produce either JV or our own. So what we have taken into account is any particular product we are trying to select at least 50 percentage uh, margin type of it. Basically, your RMC, I mean, raw material cost is one of the significant, and conversion cost is going to be lower in this technology because, as I mentioned, lower energy consumption, lower manpower that has been considered. And then selling price is not going to be different. And these are all innovators. We have quite a bit of those technologies are already ready developed. It is purely implementation. So what we have done it is we have taken conservative estimates of a 30% success rate because we have so many technologies, we cannot implement all of them. And we considered 5 technologies per year, not more than that, because there is a roadblock in terms of how many you can implement with a full focus in a year is also the purely how quickly you can expand. So we have in this particular one, we consider 5 technologies per year implementation, not more than that. While we continue to work with our 5 manufacturing partners because we will not leave that, we will like to continue. And then while we continue to do other 2 verticals, it's called the Flowtech as well as Turnkey. And so all of this combination with a conservative of numbers, what we have taken, what you see the growth. And it's also, it speaks the last 5 years, we are started as I said, three of us came from a big organization, living a big jobs and with a certain vision. And we've established, it took, in 2020, we were under COVID, but even after that, we have continued to grow, continue to invest, and we have developed every single particular platform, what I explained earlier. And now, yeah, and within this 5.5 years, you see the amount of the customers, amount of the number of projects, is the speed in which we are able to implement it. And if I consider any of that, and this is more conservative estimate to looking at how we can grow. And then while any startup people talk about whether you are burning the cash, how where you are. Today, with this financial year, we are EBITDA positive already. A company in 5 years, while investing, developing technologies and all that, EBITDA positive is not a small achievement. And we are in this financial year, EBITDA positive. And year on year, we are growing. And the growth is not 5%, 10%. We are talking about order of magnitude to slowly increasing.
Great. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Of course, the last 5 years, as you said, people who understand EBITDA and all, especially in the startup, break even is itself is hard, and now we are EBITDA positive. That's actually a good sign of both two ways. And one, operating the company in the highest efficiency for ourselves. So of course, second, the market. So there is a potential, there is a operational efficiency. Definitely, you are meeting your EBITDA numbers. That's great. Let's okay. I think these are maybe a different view of the earlier slide. If I look at 24,
Yeah.
25,
So
26, yeah,
yeah, that specifically talk about revenue and EBITDA, but this gives a P&L,
yeah,
profit and loss accountability. And as I said, this financial year in India, financial year is ends with April to March. So 24-25 is the end of March this year. We are net profit. We are on track of these numbers. What do you see it? We
yeah.
are already just 1.5 months to close. Hmm? We are going to be, as I said, EBITDA positive and net profit in this financial year. And now with the next financial year onwards, we are looking at growing further. And we anticipate if we implement it 25-26 manufacturing, it takes 1 year. So we have considered all the capex and the timelines of implementation. That's where you will see the revenues to growing up significantly, say a little later, manufacturing coming up in only 26-27, because we will be implementing, investing in 25-26, and then you start getting revenues from 26-27. So you see that triggered planning, and then thereby you see the net profit to everything going up significantly with time. While we continue to other business, CDMO, flow tech, our manufacturing partner will continue to grow. We will not stop that, what is presently working.
Okay. Yeah. Then, next, okay, next you have this is again another P&L with the R&D unit. You want to talk about briefly on this one?
So this particular one where we have looked at it is, without manufacturing, are we still able to do it? Why do we need a manufacturing while you have a 5 manufacturing partner? So we have made a page without manufacturing plant, only partnership. It will still continue to grow, still continue to get a positive net income, but the numbers are going to be significantly lower because the manufacturing producing products will help you a lot more money. Then you also, I want to also get attention to previous page or this page. We have 4 different types of income. One, as I told you, vertical of flow tech and CDMO through manufacturing partners. Then we also, for every particular technology, we sell our micro reactors. We only produce our micro reactors because it's a proprietary IP. We don't give it just like that to anybody. So we also have, let's say, other source of income through our reactors. Then the last one, manufacturing, if we are building a manufacturing plant.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. You have various channels of revenue model. That's what we're talking about. And the second one is why the manufacturing is so critical. You were highlighting earlier. Without that, there are good numbers, but the majority of the numbers is coming in from manufacturing. And also, once you are in manufacturing control, you can actually take steps that probably, much more beneficial for the company. I think that definitely makes sense. Okay, I think we're coming almost close towards the end, but of course, during the entire conversation, you talked about various achievements, patents, and all. It's kind of summary. Kishan, I'll let you talk about this slide a little bit.
So first, any investor looks at risks associated with any technology. And that's why I'm addressing saying that the risks are reduced by saying that it is developed and validated and implemented. So that's the reason on technology risk is negligible. And we are running 5.5 years now fully, and all this very unique capabilities developed. So there's no risk related to technology. And that gives the further strength of 50 plus technologies of CDMO, and then 25 plus technology of flow tech. All of this is a example of how rapidly we are developing this particular technology and implementing. And as I mentioned, 10 of them as we speak, now 12 of the products with our manufacturing partners are under production with one, and 5 continuous processes are implemented in India, another 5 are under construction. So this gives the uh, confidence to anybody, hey, we are not talking about at R&D level, we are talking about commercial level. And then in the financial model, as I mentioned, we consider 30% only existing projects. And then I have given you differentiation with the R&D alone versus the manufacturing changes the game in terms of revenue and the net profits. And what we are talking about, EBITDA of 250 crores in 5 years, is as you can see, the valuations of revenue multiplier or EBITDA multipliers, if you look at it, anything, is the order of magnitude valuation of what we are talking today versus what is going to be in the future. So the last, everybody's mind, are you willing to go to IPO? Yes, answer is yes. And time frame is 5+ years.
Great. Thanks, Krishna. I think that IPO, of course, along with the various other achievements, that IPO is a very good segue into the next slide. This I will talk about a little bit on this. Of course, I will ask you, Kishan, a couple of questions. Okay, this is for the investors. Of the opportunity that we want to bring to you guys is the immense potential that Sravathi has got, both from the technology, innovation, and also the market reach, and also the current customers that they have. So by looking at that, we are actually coming to the market with an investment opportunity to invest in this company. Right now, we are currently valuation, we are doing this offering with a 250 crore valuation, as Kishan sir mentioned. The IPO is on the books. Yeah, of course, any IPO takes some time. 5 to 7 years is the projection, and we are expecting this to go to the 1,500 crore valuation. So, with that in mind, what you're investing today, you're not only investing. By the way, you're not investing. I wouldn't call it as a startup. This is actually beyond a startup with innovation and developed, validated, and implemented. I want to caution that very, very clearly. You're not investing in something, oh, we're going to see if it works. No, we already working. A lot of customers, you've seen it, and of course, EBITDA positive already. With that in mind, the investment opportunity, and we also given a lock period. Anytime when we do investment, some kind of a lock is required because it has to grow, sustain, and all. 3 years is the locking period that we want everybody to be with us, grow with us, and we want you to grow along with us. The company is growing. The kind of representation what we did is of various valuations. Let's say if we are at a 500 crore valuation, what your investment that you're doing it today could potentially return. And if the 1,000 crore valuation, obviously with a 1,500 crore valuation, what it is going to be. But obviously IPOs at a success rate, what Sravathi has got today, for the next 5 to 7 years, we being a market leader and lesser competition. Of course, as we said, a competition may come, but it's going to be years behind. It's like in the industry, with a huge potential of IPO as well. So that's what we are bringing to the table. Christian, one question to you on that. Okay, so me saying it is one, you saying it, the IPO plan from now till IPO, what are the, I mean, 3 critical things, if you say, that you as a company or we as investors have to do in order to reach that IPO timeline? What is the top 3 things that you are thinking on your mind?
So first one is um, manufacturing unit implementation, either JV or our own. That's a critical milestone which we wanted to do it this year onwards. Okay, because R&D and technology validation we are now fully done. We just once you develop it, you're just going to implement more and more. So the one thing which will change the whole revenue and potential, which I explained in previous pages, is about a manufacturing ownership. Okay, whether joint venture or our own. The second is expanding geographically in a different regions. As I said, we are at the final version of a JV in US, and similarly, we are looking at a KSA market. Answer is why this market selectively, not other market. US is in the present scenario, make in US is going to be a theme. Will continue to drive, uh, not to dependent with the geographical, geopolitical issues. So that's where make in US. And with this will address both of the cost and energy efficiency so that they are also cost effective even in after making in the US. So that's where we looked at the US and we identified a partner who is ready to invest fully 100% investment from their side under this JV. The second one, why we looked at KSA, the lot of drive from that market and lot of raw materials at a very, very low cost available, and a lot of funding is available and willingness from the government is available there. So they wanted to enter into pharma and they have a zero presence or very little presence in pharma. And I being worked in earlier that market through my earlier organization, Sabic, I know a lot of people and been there. We identified and now partnered, and that is still early stages, I would say, compared to US. And these are all couple of things will continue, will help us while we implementing our flow tech. As I said, 5 implemented, 5 more. So I'm looking at more and more those implementation in the next few years. This will change our drive, and all elements are already identified. It's not the one. Only thing is identification to implementation takes time, and you need to do efficiently execution. It's not just on the paper to unexecute. That's where this 5 years, these are the 3 identified, well-defined things. If it is implemented, I think we are ready for IPO.
Okay, that is a very great way to summarize, Krishna. Yeah, of course, you have a very clear vision. We see that in the earlier slides as well. I think we are all poised for success along with us. Obviously, all our investors would be happy as well when we reach those milestones. Especially, it's very important when we have a clear milestones defined and also the approach. So, for example, you talked about US joint venture, which already in the books. Working with KSA, you talked about it. More than that, what I also wanted to highlight for our investors is that, as I said, right, Sravathi has been doing this for the last 7+ years. Started off with and already a bit of positive. Already done quite a bit of implementations, investments, as well as reach to the market is already there. So one thing I wanted to make sure our investors, you are investing in a company that is already proven and behind and working behind in great minds that you saw earlier in the slide, or also with a great vision and a very clear plan of execution. So with that, I think I will thank you, Kishan, for your time. And obviously, there will be a lot more questions may come up. Of course, you are at a arm's length away to us. We will reach out to you to answer any questions or anything. Any final thoughts, Kishan?
Thank you, Kalyan, and I thanks for trusting on us and the be together in this exciting time years to come. And trusting and investing is you are certainly a part of this particular journey, and so we should move on that journey, and so that we all of us looks at the value for our investors. That's end of the day, we have to make sure that that value created for our potential investors.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take
Thank you.
leave. Thank you all. Yeah, talk to you.